Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see. Maybe hit like and subscribe, and I would love to know what you like to stitch. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you taking the time each week or whenever you get the chance, really, to come and hang out with me and talk cross stitch and all of that fun stuff. So thank you for being here. Alrighty, so I have my usual amount of projects. This week has been completely governed by challenges. So this is my challenge and games, Sal's little notebook that I do. I love color and markers and washi tape and all of that fun stuff. So if I go, for example, on my I Spy page, you know, we have everything there plus what I'm writing down, and then we put some fun washi tape. And so I have a habit of doing that, and it's so much fun because I really do enjoy kind of making things pretty. I had an extra page in February, so I added some pretty paper and then a little bit here because there was a little left over. So it's just a fun way to add some fun stuff. I actually have on the front my blessing sampler that I finished. So it's a fun way for me to kind of play around with my challenges and kind of do a little paper crafting while I'm at it too. So this week how I've put my projects is actually according to different types of March challenges. March is very, very busy. There is so much going on, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So that's been fun. And I'm kind of letting go of any pressure of getting it all done. If I get a chance to do your stitch along or whatever, I hope that'll be great, but I hope you'll understand too if for some reason it just falls by the wayside. I'm just doing what I can when I can and enjoying it. So before I start with all the projects, I do have a full finish. I had alluded to this one last week that I had a scrapbook page that was sitting on the table, and it sat again and sat and sat. And in the end, I said, you know what? I think this is where I'm going with it. You know what I mean? Because you can overthink things. So let me show you my full finish. And this is a Silver Creek sampler piece. It was kind of an in-between size between, say, the 6x8 kind of pages and the 8.5 by 11 pages. So I kind of went with this in the end. We have your base cardstock. We have a navy cardstock. I have some pattern paper underneath. And then I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to fill this bottom part. So I have a whole bunch. I must have gotten a set of butterfly die cuts that I can use in my planners and my journals and things like that. And these were very similar color, especially this one. It looks very similar. So I thought, okay, let's do ones that are the same color scheme as the one I stitched so that it kind of looks like a little family of butterflies floating around. So that's what my full finish is. So that is 3 full finishes for March. That's pretty good. That's probably the least at the end of the year. You know, starts is obviously the most, finishes is usually second, and full finishes is usually third. So I'm trying to kind of keep up with the full finishes, excuse me, so that we have quite a few at the end of the year. So we'll see what happens with that. I've got a second 8.5 by 11 scrapbook and a second 6x8, and I'd like to have both of them filled and have to buy another one before the end of the year. That would be fun. I have quite a bit to be scrapbooked, plus other types of finishes as well. If you were like, what is this? I'm new to you. I don't know what scrapbooking your stitches is. I do have a playlist that I have videos that talk about supplies. I had my initial videos with supplies, and then I did like a supplies 101 update a couple years later after I'd been doing this for a couple years. I have a, for one of my Flossmasses, I want to say 2024 area, I did a flip through of my scrapbooks at that time. I'll have to figure out, I know you like the flip through, so I'll have to figure out how to do that again because obviously some of it will be repeats. So we'll have to play around with that idea. Any suggestions or what you want to see with that, I would love to get your ideas. But how to make a page, I think I made a page with you. So there is a playlist there if you're interested in learning more about it. And I'm going to put this one up here for now. The one thing I did want to do for, I do get questions sometimes when I cut down. So, you know, you've got the interfacing on the back, but sometimes when you cut it, you'll get the little flyaway strands. And on this one, that does happen. I don't know if you can see how there's a little bit there. Now I use Ada. I don't know about cutting down any other types of fabrics, because this is what I do and what I use. Most of the time there might be one or two, but then it kind of, it doesn't keep fraying. This, there's one right there actually that's on the thing. This fabric, so I guess sometimes, you know, we'll have a piece that maybe is just a little bit more unmanageable. And this one has done a little bit more like those little extra thingies. So I wanted to show you the scissors that I use. This is the scissors I've had for years that I use when I would fussy cut for paper crafting. And it's a spring loaded. So, you know, it stays open and then you have to push it, right? And then you can get, it's a very tight tip. Oops, a very small tip, and it's a sharp, nice tip so that it can get into places. And I find this way, even if I have my thing already attached, because it's such a small tip, I can just go in and grab that, and then there we go. And then I get that little piece. So I find this really invaluable to have one of these little teeny tiny scissors. I don't know for those of you who sew, if there is a version of this that you may already have. This is from my paper crafting days. Tim Holtz might have one through Tonic, but I can't say enough about how much I use this without even realizing it. So, but most of the time it's not an issue. And once you put them in the page protectors, it's not like you're handling them. They're in the book, they're covered, they're protected, and it's usually fine. But in case you ever needed, this is an idea if you want to get in without worrying about like cutting anything. All right, so let's get started with my stitches. Now, if you want to see all the different games and all of that, I had a March video where I talked about all the different things going on. It's crazy how many things are going on, and I don't even know most of them. But one of the things that is happening is, I'm gonna write down Heather's name. Heather is doing a monochromatic march, and actually I want to see Kat is also doing monochromatic, so I'm gonna put down Kat too. Anybody I mention, if you look down in the description box below all of the description of my projects, you'll see mentions, and I give the name. So Heather, Kat, whoever I mentioned, and then their YouTube channel. Or if it's somebody I mention that doesn't have a YouTube, but they're doing something specific, then I'll list their Instagram or whatever information I might have from them. So just look in the description box, so that way I'm not repeating channel names all the time. All right, so Heather was doing a monochromatic march, and I was all in. Let's do it, because you know I love my monochromatic. So the first few pieces that you're going to see, I've got 4 monochromatics to show you. Now, number 1, also last weekend was a stitch spotlight weekend. So you know that I'm doing that with Karen and Mary. And so each month we're doing a non-competitive kind of, we're calling it Spotlight. It's inspired by the Feisty Focus event from Whip Warriors, which is a online Facebook challenge group if you are new. And we just didn't want the competitive nature of it. So we said, let's do a non-competitive version. And that's what we've been doing. And so last weekend, it's basically for 3 days, see what you can get done on a piece. Now, I don't stitch on it exclusively. I still stitch on other things. I know, as does Karen. Mary, I don't know if you stitch exclusively for that weekend. But I chose Mary Poppins. Now, I have been doing Mary Poppins for this event. This is the 3rd time. And I do have to say, I think I'm going to do something different in April. So I made it bigger because I'm not doing this. It's a beautiful, beautiful border, but I just decided I didn't want to do it. And so I'm just doing all of the inside stuff and not that part. And I'm getting there. It's taking some time, but I'm getting there. Here it is. Let's get that tag out of the way. There we go. This is my version of Mary Poppins. All of my fabric that you will see today is 18 count Aida, so I won't repeat that. But when I know who the, where I may have gotten it from, I'll tell you. If I don't, there's no info. This is Uranus from Under the Sea Fabrics. And I am using, it's a DMC 839 maybe. Is that the real navy one? Oh, that's down below here. I can't really grab that. It's the one that's so navy it almost looks black. I really liked the tone on tone idea, and so I do that a lot with my monochromatics. And I loved this fabric, kind of a I was gonna say smoky, but more like smoggy sort of feel to it, which is what I wanted for this piece. And I got 500, I believe. Yeah, 500, actually 500 on the dot. And I didn't plan that. That never happens. But it was 500 exactly on the dot. And I'm finding, because I've used that for this project for a lot of those events, I actually did mostly over here. So I'm going to, I did extend the border a little bit, but mostly I did on this side. So I'm going to close that part up for a minute. This border is, I did a little bit on each side. I cannot find a really good path, so I struggle with it. Usually on a border, I can find a really good, and I've played around and tinkered with a whole bunch, but I'm like, okay, at this point, there's only this much left. Just keep plugging along and you'll get it. But I did a good portion on this side of that. I came down, all of that is done. I also did some across here, and like I said, I did do some on this side as well. I don't think I got down here at all. But I'm finding that I was a little burnt out this past weekend working on this piece, and so I decided that I need to take a break from it. It's gotten a lot of work in these events, and I mean in this, I want to say it's gotten at least 1,500 this year. I actually did quite a bit in January, I think. So if I go back for a minute and I just look, I got 1,100 stitches on it in January. So it was a really good month for that. And then February, I got 700 and then 5. So 2,300-ish stitches. That's not too bad. And we're only through March. So I think if I give it a little break right now, that's okay. I think I have this on Pattern Keeper, and I have all of the border that I'm not stitching all in at this point, and I think it came in around 80% that I have left, that I've done, so I have 20% left to do. So, you know, not too bad. And I don't remember what the number was. I'd have to see, it'll tell me what the number of stitches are left, and then we'd have to do some math, but it's not going away because I do like it, and it's getting there, right? I mean, I think I burnt myself out on it just a little bit. So now it's time to take a little bit of a break from it. Okay, number 2. This one I started in February with Mary. It's the pink Peacock sampler from Pansy Patch. And this is actually one of the few monochromatics I'm doing that I did not do tone-on-tone sort of color. The fabric and the floss are 2 different color shades. This was a suggestion that I absolutely loved, and I'm so thrilled when you made it. I can't remember. I am very sorry. I don't remember who made it, but she said kind of like a pink lemonade look, and I love the pink on the yellow. So this is Lazy Daisy, the medium, which is funny because it's still pretty light, from Dying for Cross Stitch. Some of her colors, she has a light, medium, dark, not all of them, but this one she does. And let me bring this all the way up. That's where I am. I am using a Threadworks. So if I go in here, let's see if I can figure out which Threadworks it is. It is 1005, so that's what it looks like. And I did a little bit, when I do this, I do a little bit of border. I think I did that center, plus I brought some more border out. I've got more letters from this alphabet. And then I have all of this was not done. And I can't remember if I had to finish that as well. But I've got some good work on this one. So I'm trying to, for the month of March, we'll see if I touch every monochromatic, because I believe there's about 16 or so of them. And I'm trying to get about 300 stitches on each. If I get more, fabulous. But at least that, to say, okay, it's gotten a nice little bit of stitching. And then I kind of call it, okay, that's complete. Let's move on to the next monochromatic. I think as of, if I look at my book, as of, excuse me, right now, I've done 7 for the month. And let me take a sip of tea real quick. We have a peach tea this morning. So I'd still have 9 to hit, and we are March. It's March. We are March 13th at this point. So again, no pressure to myself. We'll see. It's just a fun kind of game to see how far you can get. At this point, I don't think this one will come out again. I was hoping maybe to get some extra work on some of them, but I don't think I'm going to rotate through all of them as it is. So odds are we're not going to get repeats unless I say I just want to stitch in this and I don't care, because that's always a possibility. You know how I am. Now, last week I did the sampler seasons, holidays, Christmas and Thanksgiving. I figured, well, I might as well just complete that and do the sampler holidays, Halloween. And this is from Blueberry Ridge. Quite a few of my monochromatics are Blueberry Ridge or Pansy Patch. Oops, and I never put, let me just put the front page picture in here with the Peacock. Okay. I figured, well, let's just get those holidays out of the way. And so that's what I did this week. And here we go. And I think this one is a Stitchy Stuff Co. Floss that I used. Speaking of Stitchy Stuff Co., I remember when I was talking about Abecedarian and I was worried about the firecracker color. So I reached out to her and she said, I just listed some and I have more ready to go. So I did order another skein, Hank, of the firecracker. So that hasn't come yet, but she's very quick. I think it's already shipped. And I think a couple of other skeins that were pretty I picked up. But if you were looking for that firecracker, which is a very fun, kind of vibrant, kind of red, I know as of last weekend, she did have some in her shop. It's Stitchy Stuff Co. and she's on Etsy. All right, so what did I do? I don't think I extended the border. I had a huge element to kind of finish here. I started, this is going to be a broom, so I got all of that done, and I think I brought that down as well. It's really kind of funny because I know I've got a good 400 stitches on this, and I can't really tell you 100% where it is. Oh, and I started a house. Oh, look at that. But this right here is a big element, and then when you start adding all these other things in, it adds up. So that's where it is. I mean, I've got a ways to go yet, obviously. Now on these, I am stitching the whole thing, including the alphabets, the words, and everything, which I know is shocking. But you know, sometimes I do it. I don't know if I did this one on a Zoom. I might have, which sometimes, I don't know about you, but if I'm stitching on a Zoom, it's great because, you know, obviously you just kind of stitch and you chat and whatever, but then you kind of forget what you stitched on. Like, what part did I stitch? Because I was so busy chatting. Now that one also, for I Spy, one of the prompts was something with, I think it just said something with seeds. It's my own challenge. You'd think I'd know. If I go back, something with seeds. Well, that had a pumpkin on it, and we have pumpkin seeds. I am a big fan of pepitas. I love pumpkin seeds and salads and things like that. But that had seeds, so there we go. That was my I Spy. All right, now the last monochromatic that I worked on, I also purposely worked on for a stitch along. So where is it? Oh, it should be farther back this way. There it is. And that was Black Roses from Owl Forest Embroidery. So Doris, let me write down Doris's name actually, it's her birthday month. And so she asked us to stitch Owl Forest. Now, I know she was starting a piece. I have 3 Owl Forest on the go, and I stitched on 2 of them this week for Doris. And this was one of them. And it was a perfect choice because it was also monochromatic, so it hadn't had any work yet this month for Monochromatic March, so it was perfect. Lots of people are stitching this. I started this one as a New Year, New Start with Mary, not this January, but January of 2025. Now, Mary is, I think Mary's going to finish it this year. I'm convinced she's going to. She is really zipping along. Now, the one thing I am not going to do on this one is I am cutting it off. Let me make this bigger for a minute here. I'm cutting this off right here on this flower border, and I'm not going to stitch that. I think it just looks really pretty right there. So you've got the castle, and then she's kind of standing in the garden. And that's how, especially because up here, you know, there's no like border. So I thought that would be a nice, now it still means, that doesn't help me much right now. I still have so much left to do on this one, but it's very pretty. So I bring this up every time. The irony is I made my roses red, even though it's called Black Roses. This fabric is Pomona from Under the Sea Fabrics. I had this Maleficent vibe when I saw the picture and, you know, the queen kind of standing there. And so as soon as I saw that, I said, I have to do purple. And so that's what I did, was purple. And then I believe the roses are done in a Stitchy Stuff Co., one of the reds from there. This whole section right here was where I worked on. It's pretty elaborate with counting, so because I was doing 2 different owl forests, I didn't get as much time on this one as some of my other monochromatic pieces. So this may come out one more time this month. We'll see. But it's going to be so pretty, this whole, I mean, it's so intricate. Look at all the different pieces. And I mean, this will be repeated over here. So I did sort of get this one into Pattern Keeper. Obviously, they're made for, isn't it? Is it Saga as opposed to Pattern Keeper? And it sort of worked, but it sort of didn't. So I found the last time or two, I've actually been using the paper again, which is how I did Black Vintage. And I found it easier than trying to kind of make sure, because there's a few mistakes and overlaps from the page breaks. And that's kind of where I am right now. So I might just abandon the Pattern Keeper version of this and just go back to paper. But, oh, it looks so pretty. Now, Andrew is doing it very cool. He's doing it all in beads. And obviously he didn't bring that down with him when he's in Florida. But Andrew, when you go back to New York, are we going to get a chance to see it? I hope so. It'll be gorgeous. And then if you want to see a very, very recent start, as in this week, Beth started it also for Doris's birthday stitch along. The stitch along is the hashtag Owl Birthday Sal. If you'd like to join in, I think, so her birthday was, I want to say this past Saturday. However, I think it's the entire month. So you have plenty of time to jump in and stitch a Owl Forest. And Doris is, she's not on YouTube, she is on Instagram as Glitter Dove Fairy. And that one also hit I Spy something that starts with the letter R, and we had roses. Okay, now next Owl Forest that I have that I stitched. I'm trying to think when I started it, so when I will see it in my list of projects here. Oh, there it is. Yep, it's on the older side now. This one is called Dandelions. That's what it looks like. Now mine's going to look very different. First off, I did a different fabric kind of color scheme. So I did not go with this fabric color. I hemmed and hawed, but I wanted something that the white would not ghost as much on. And you can see it here, but it definitely kind of ghosts a little bit. And there's a significant amount of white you're stitching. So I kind of said to myself, well, I want to make sure I can see it. Then I also did not use the Owl Forest flosses, and we know that because they're highly variegated, the DMC alternatives are not always the best choice. And I think I'm going to have to frog something because I've made other choices, and now I'm going to go back, and the biggest change you're going to see, you see how these elements are kind of in like a brownish kind of thing. That's the biggest change. And then I did change kind of one of the purples as well. So let me show you my version. And here it is. So this is, it's a gray, but it's a little bit bluer than you're seeing here, even if I pull it back. Sometimes when you pull it back, you'll get a more accurate, it's still kind of washing out. It's a little light, but when you come up here, it's definitely washing it out. It is much deeper and richer than you're seeing here. So you can see here, I changed this to a purple, and I'm really, really love that more. These elements are supposed to be that same color, and part of me was going to just keep them in. That was when I ended up taking the DMC conversion and then putting it with a variegated kind of choice. However, because I thought it'd be fine mixed in. However, I really like this deep purple, and I think it's just going to look out of place when it's done. So I am at some point going to pull those out and restitch them in this shade, which is the same, is charted to be the same shade anyway. I like how the white pops better here. I mean, it's not in your face the only thing you see, especially when you have everything else stitched, but I do like how I can see it a little bit better. Especially these, they look really cool. I could have used that for seeds, right? Because isn't this part of the dandelion? When you blow that, those are all seeds. So there we go, back to back. Oh, not back to back, but for I Spy, a couple different ideas for prompts. And then I did a good portion of this. I did do some white stitching, mostly over here, and got some in here. And then I had to fill in over here a little bit too, some of the greens. So I think at this point, those are completely filled in. So all this top part is done. Now there are a few stray areas where you'll have like 3 X's and then like a little line of backstitch to kind of make it seem like there's some of those kind of seeds kind of flying in the air. I'm not going to bother with those. I think it looks, because you'd be putting them in these areas, and I think I like the space that's there, and I feel like it would just get a little cluttered. So I do have some frogging to do, but that's a future Laura problem, not a current Laura problem at all. So Twilight missed to dye for fabrics. I'm not 100% sure I said that. So there we go. So this one was also part of the Owl birthday sale. Now I have one more that I did not get to, which was one that I started several Octobers ago for my birthday stitch along. And so we'll see if I get to it. I might if I feel like stitching some more pumpkins. All right. So on Monday, I went and stitched with a friend here locally. Hi, Beth. And I brought this piece to stitch while we were chatting because it's not monochromatic, so it doesn't fall under that. It's got the 2 colors. I am stitching it with the 2 colors. This is Gentleman Quaker from Jardin Prive. However, it is a good one that I thought I could do and chat, and I could still chat without making mistakes on. So, all right, let me do this first as a whole. So that's what it looks like. As you can see, I put Mo's initials on this one, and then when I do the Lady Quaker, I am going to put my initials on it. And I'm not stitching below him, which is why, because here you have ABC, and then the rest of the alphabet happens. I just wanted to stitch right up to here. And so I thought it'd be fun if we put his initials up there and then mine on the other one. Now, of course, he's got like the longest level of initials as you could possibly get. So that will affect over here a little bit. I do have to do a little bit of counting, and I might have to move. Well, I want to get this finished, and I want to do that little corner piece. There's a little flower on the corner, and then I'll work my way down from there. So there might be a little extra space between this edge and that flower. So if there is, and it looks like it needs something added, there's a few elements here or there in the piece that I might be able to add in. I am using Floche, DMC Floche, the black on this one. This was an experiment that I did, and then a Classic Colorworks. So I wanted to see, because the Floche is one-stranded, and I did this entire pretty much element here, and I did both colors. The Floche is one-stranded because it's a little bit thicker. It's like 1.5-ish of the regular DMC 6-strand, and then I like to do 2 strands on 18 count, so I did 2 strands of the variegated floss. And what's really nice is I wanted to see, okay, if I mix in Floche with DMC or variegated floss, how would it look? And I think it looks great. I don't think you can tell. There's no difference in thickness when you look at it in person. So especially if I want to use black or white and to mix the Floche in and just have one-stranded, I think it'll work well. Now, Floche does not come in every DMC colors, just some of the most, I don't know how they decide. I know like 319, I'm using that for a project. Some of the most common ones I think they do it with. And if you don't know, if you've never used it before and you wanted to look at it, it's spelled Floche. And Kim is doing, oh yes, Kim has got a start, and she is using the Floche, and it looks so good. All right, let me make sure I get Kim listed, because you need to see when she shows the project how beautiful it is. But there's my Gentleman Quaker, and I got some good progress. So thank you, Beth. I enjoyed our visit. It'd been a while. We hadn't seen each other since before Thanksgiving. Between snowstorms and life and holidays, and we just didn't get a chance to, but it was really, really fun to catch up. Alrighty. Next is my full coverage. So I am doing Lion versus Lamb in Whip Warriors this month, and it's a full coverage event where basically you take one of your full coverages, stitch 1,000 stitches, and then go to the next one and see how many you can do. Now, I am not doing full coverage exclusively, as you can see, so I'm hoping to get, I should get at least 4, maybe 5 done in the course of the month, and I think that's pretty darn good. So I pulled out, because this is my piece that I'm focusing-ish on this year. I'm aiming for a possible 2027 finish. It won't get finished. There's too many stitches in it left. I'm over 50%, but I'm just slightly over 50%. It's a mini. Now, this was called Mini Watching the World Go By. It's a retired piece. It was charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and the artwork is by Lucy Pittaway. Now, Lucy Pittaway has now contracted with Bothy Threads, and so a lot of her charts are now as kits. I believe this is a kit, although it doesn't look quite the same in the Bothy kit as it did through this. And I love the colors in this. I love seeing all of the color come alive. It is quite confetti heavy over here, obviously. These trees are not as bad because you have bigger chunks. I have a little bit left to do here. This is the corner, so I have 3 of the 4 corners done. But over here, between the grass and then, I'm trying to think, you know, you've got the levels of the grass. I think there's a fence here a little bit, and then the trees and all the colors. There's so much confetti. What I do is I find a section where I can do a bunch, which is why like these trees are getting done, and there's a lot of grass I kind of did, and then I'll go and do some confetti. As you can see here, was a little stray extra because the trees do go all in this corner as well too. So there'll be still a lot of that vibrant reds, oranges to do. I don't think, unless there's a stray stitch somewhere, the top portion of the sky and clouds should be completely done. And it looks so cool. This is, I do full coverage on the 18 as I do with everything else, and I do 2 strands over 1 full cross. And that's where I am. So I did get 1,000, just over 1,000. If I don't want to knock that over. Too many things here. So this would be on the next page, I think. I did 1,081 stitches on that one. So I have now changed to a new project that you will see next week. So there we go. This one will come out every month for this year, and my goal is to get between 1,000 and 1,500 stitches. Usually by the time I get to that 1,500, actually about 1,200 or so, I start getting, I'm going to use my friend Karen D's term, twitchy. I'm going to get twitchy, and I get a little twitchy with it. And so that's why I don't know if I could do like a really heavy focus on a full coverage piece, because I definitely like to mix and match. Oh, my scissors just went flying. And so I don't think I could keep with it for an extended long period of time, 5,000, 10,000 stitches at once. All right. This piece I did 100 stitches a day this week. I thought about continuing that, but there is something I would like to finish in March. And so I'm going to put this one aside for the moment. I'd like to get some more work on it. But I'd like that one to be my 100 stitch a day to see if I can get it finished by the end of the month. This is Basset O Luck, and it is from Threading Our Journey. And it won't get done by St. Patrick's Day. I mean, St. Patrick's Day is next Tuesday. So we're only 4 days away now. But it is a stitch for Mo. We have kind of an inside joke with that. But here I am. I did get some good progress on it. This one is really fun. There's blocks to stitch, so it was easy to do 100 stitches a day. I love the colors that the designer chose for the rainbow. It's so bright and vibrant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 colors, and it just looks so good. I almost have, so I finished up that. I got a good portion of the pot of gold done. In fact, I think now that's the dog's leg. So I think that's mostly, there's just a few stray stitches there. And then I got all of the ear, and I started to do some other stuff with it. This is an unnamed fabric from Coffee Crafts Fabrics. And I just think it's the cutest. So at this point, you can kind of see that's as tall as it's going to be, and then it will come over just a little bit over here. You could, in theory, if you wanted to, you could have just done, I could have just done the dog rainbow and pot of gold, not done the little pint of Guinness with the different shamrocks. But I'm going to do the whole thing, including the pint of Guinness, which I do not like. Oof, I am not a fan of Guinness. So that's where it is. So my Basset probably, he may not come out next week. Although, again, he's very much a comfort stitch because it's good blocky stitching. So you never know. So that was my one. So far, I only have one St. Patrick's stitch I've done this month. There's 2 more starts I'd like to get in. We'll see. I'm up to 5 starts this month. If I do those 2 plus the 2 on the first day of spring, we're talking 9 starts this month. So we'll see. But, you know, if you don't get them started, you can't have them in your rotation when you want to stitch them. So we'll see what happens with that. But there's so many fun things out there. And once they're in the rotation, then it's just easy to get them stitched on. Okay. So I mentioned Andrew with Black Roses. So my next piece is my Whip into Shape. And I think what I have to do is I have to start putting it back into the weekly rotation. So when Andrew did Whip into Shape last year, it was his weekly training for the marathon. And I was pulling my piece out every single week. Oh, you know what? I don't need to show you. Actually, you know what this is, because I do have a paper version of this, but I'm just going to show you this right now. It's a blurry picture, but it'll be fine. This is Summer Quaker from Lila Studio. And I was really good. Every week I was bringing it out and doing his weekly stuff. with the walks, and I'm doing it steps, which means, holy moly, Andrew, some of those are like 500. You are taking long walks because he's doing 5,000 steps. I just haven't gotten into a groove yet, but I think if I just pull it out every week and even just do, say, 200, I will eventually dig away at the steps, and that will get me closer to a finish. I really would like to finish this one this year. This is Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie. I have the outer edge completely done. It's just the inside, but the inside it's full coverage. There's no way around it. So it's a lot of stitching. I did complete, oh goodness, I'm making a mess out of this altogether. All right, I did complete all of the stuff right here, and this was, I needed to put away after that. There's so many color changes, and you know me, I don't mind changing colors, but I don't like stitching. Okay, let's stitch 5 stitches. Now let's change a color. Stitch 8. Now change a color. Like, I like to be able to do a thread, at least do a thread, and then kind of change if I need to. So this was a little bit kind of nitpicky, but it's done now. I think the entire section of that village area is done. I don't know. By the fence, it might have some back stitching, but I kind of like it like this. Like, I look at it saying, I don't really need that kind of fence lines, so I might just keep it like that. I'm going to look at it after at the end and see where I need to. I know I need to here, possibly with the ship, but I don't know if I need it there. I did that, and then I also, I extended. I wanted to see, I finished the row of wave here, and then I wanted to do, I knew this one was going to be tight, but so is the original. The original with the mermaid, she is right up below the water. So I knew the same thing would happen, but I wanted to make sure I had counted right, because I really didn't want to have to take out this sea turtle that I changed it to. Excuse me. So I got to that point. I think that was a day's worth of stitching, and then I kind of had to quit for the day. But I said, okay, I've gotten there. A little tickle in my throat. And I'm good, because that's the highest part right there. The head's lower. So now I can bring this across. And some of that will be fill-in. I think there is one more row, excuse me, of another set of waves. I can't remember. So there's quite a bit there to do. What I want to do is I want to do all of the stuff and then just have the fill-in. Excuse me for 1 second. Okay, hopefully now I've got that tickle gone. I had a few good few coughs and a little bit more of my tea. So hopefully we're good now. So at the end, I want to just have water to fill in, because then that I can do anywhere, whether I'm doing it in-person stitching or Zooms or whatever, and it'll be just kind of whenever, even just doing like a strand a day kind of thing, just to get that part done. But there still is quite a bit of extra. I think what I'd like to do, I might try to do some of the sea kind of grass underneath here. Now, this turtle is slightly longer than the mermaid. She went, kind of this way. She started about here and came out this way. So I might have to do a little finagling here, but I knew that. And if I do that as I go along and get the whole bottom done, it should be fine. It'll just be a little shorter. I don't think it'll be an issue. I don't think you'll notice in the end, because this will obviously all be filled in. So we are in March, middle of March. I think it's still doable. I haven't given up hope that this can be. I did finish the stitchings for steps for one of the walks. I don't remember which number I am on. I'm very much behind, and Andrew is walking. Ooh, you are getting some good exercise in, Andrew. So I think I don't know, has he got more than 10 walks at this point? I don't remember. So I have plenty of steps ahead of me to stitch for. So I think, unless it's just a week where it's very busy, which this past week has been and next week will be. So sometimes bringing out those bigger kind of pieces where I need to mentally kind of do a little bit more, are tougher, but hopefully you will start to see it every week. That's how I finished Spring Quaker. I can do this one. Now that I've got Winter Quaker started, and I eventually do want to start, this would be great if I finished this one before the start of autumn, because I would like to do the Autumn Quaker one as well. All right, what's next here? Now, that was Whip into Shape. Now let's transition for the next three. Melanie, it was her birthday this month. It is her birthday this month. And she asked us to stitch birds for the Birthday Sal. I did it. And so I have 3 birds for you. And that will finish up my projects. The first one is I'm calling it Curly Turkey. And I do this every week. Do I remember who it's designed from? No. It'll be in the description box. One of these days I will remember. Probably once it's finished, because, you know, I'm plugging along on it. I think I'm over 50%. I think I was just at 50%, which is funny. Obviously, the whole kind of feather area is huge. Oh, yes, and I'm not going to stitch, I think. I'm going to stitch everything. So I'm not doing these because I just want the turkey. And I don't think I'm going to do kind of the ground underneath him. All of my other turkeys for my turkey tree, because this would be an ornament. It'll be a bigger ornament, but at this point, that's as tall as he'll be, and then he'll come out a little bit. So it's not humongous. I've got ornaments that are bigger than that, but all of them, they don't have anything underneath, so I think it would just be kind of extra stuff I don't need to add. So I have to fill that in, so I don't know. I might be a little bit more than 50% at this point, but I have all of this to do. Now, this did go in Pattern Keeper really easily, so it's been nice, because following this path would have been a little bit more challenging. I got the entire turkey inside done, which was there was a decent amount left. Got his eye finished, and then I've started doing that part there. Now, I don't know if I'll do this color all the way around and then start working my way in and filling in. We'll see. This is a Rustico kind of oatmeal-ish fabric. I thought this was perfect for the turkey. All of my turkeys are done on kind of either vintage country, or I like this color for it, or I had some coffee dye fabric that I had coffee dyed 5 years ago, 6 years ago, actually, probably in 2020. So I kind of I'm keeping that color scheme, which, you know, I don't generally do that, but I figured for this, they'll all be kind of together in that one scheme, so why not? So that's been fun. But yeah, this is my turkey that I started for this year. Hopefully he will be done by Thanksgiving and he can be fully finished to go on the turkey tree. All right. This one I had started last week, right? This was the Northern Cardinal, and there are a bunch of people stitching this. I kind of wrote a little note here. So Karen and Karen D, Mary, Amy, Bethany, and I believe Rose, you are also stitching it, correct? And forgive me if I've forgotten anybody else. I was kind of off the cuff doing that this morning, right, as I was doing my final notes. This is Northern Cardinal from Cottage Garden Samplings. I love stitching cardinals. I'm going to do all of it except up here and then decide if I want that. I haven't decided. I want to see if it'll look too empty. Now up there, I don't know if you can see, there's all sorts of little white, the four stitch kind of snowflake. I could just keep putting those in there and filling it in like that if I wanted to. Or not do those at all and just have it open. We'll see. That's again, future Laura problem. Now, I really was inspired by the fabric that was on the picture. So I looked in what I had, and I had this really pretty piece. Yeah, that's a little bit closer to the color than if I bring it up, of Through the Stones from Be Stitch Me. So it's kind of it's on the green shade, but it's not excessively green. This might be pretty. I'm still on the hunt. I'd like to do the 12 Days of Christmas, Liz Matthews, not the trees. I want to do the little samplers, but I'd like to do them all on one color. This one might be a pretty option. I don't know. that might be something I start at the end of this year and get the first one started. And you know, I'm going to start that project and then I'm going to get tired of doing all of them, but I'm still going to do it because anyway, so I am using all the colors that are exactly as charted. I did buy the variegated. There's 2 variegateds, and I am using them. And it's funny because I'm really pleased when I added the ladybug and the 352 in here, it lightened it up because I don't know, is it Bing Cherry? Something Cherry? What is this one called? Yeah, Bing Cherry and then 221 are 2 very kind of brownish reds. And I got a little concerned, but you know, when I look at it, those other colors definitely bring out kind of the reds in there. So I'm really pleased with that. So this one for I Spy, I actually did it for stripes, which it's not your traditional stripes, but every single one of these is kind of like a stripe, and you can see it better in the bird itself right there. So I thought that's kind of a cool interpretation of stripes. So that's what I did for that. So this got 2 weeks worth of stitching. I don't remember how much stitching it is because, you know, I do count everything, but then I don't keep running totals of anything. So, but I'm pleased. I don't know if it'll come out again. I have a couple of birds that are whips that I would like to work on. I thought I was going to do that, and then I went, the next piece you're going to see is a new start. So, you know, one never knows what I'm going to do. This was the only bird start I had planned for the month. And then, you know, I was just kind of minding my own business, and I was, as one is, on Etsy. And so this designer, she actually makes project bags. It's Garden Grove Stitchery, and I have a few of her project bags, and they're quite well made. They're very lovely. But she also designs a few things. And so I just happened to be on her Etsy shop, and I saw this. And isn't that pretty? It's called Bluebirds and Blossoms. It's not a humongous piece. I think it went into Pattern Keeper. I think it's might just be 2,000 stitches. I don't remember 100%. And you're going to be shocked. I was actually inspired and did kind of a neutral fabric to boot, which I never do. I mean, I can't say 100% of the time now, but 99% of the time, this would have been on a blue or a green. But look, it's not. It's on it's actually on a neutral color. This one is called, I don't know if it's Clouds or Cloud. Evening Cloud from To Dye for Fabric. And I kind of was inspired. Now, this is lighter than what the original is on, but you know, I kind of liked it, and I said I'm breaking the mold and doing it a little bit different than I normally do. Why not shake things up? But look at that. That was an afternoon of stitching. This one went into Pattern Keeper like a breeze, and I got that whole first bird done. I don't think even his eye, his leg, yep, everything is done on the bird. And so I did that, and then there's a little bit of the branch, and I started the flower. I got one of the colors of pink in, and then I have the other one to do. So I really loved the pastel colors, the pretty pastel pinks of this flowers, and even the shades of green for the leaves is pastel-y shades. It was just so pretty. So she's got some cute patterns that she has designed on her shop. So Garden Grove Stitchery, if you're curious. I'll put the information down below in the description box. But and they're all, kind of small along this kind of size. So if you'd like a small, this would be cute, even this little bird on its own without doing the second bird. I mean, I'm going to do both of them and the whole thing, but so that's my other bird start for Melanie's birthday sal. Oh, see, I've got it down now. I'm just going to be saying it all over the place. Yeah, so that is my start, and that's start number 5 for the month. I wasn't planning on that many starts. Well, there's a few others that I haven't got. Well, I wasn't planning on potentially 9, let's put it that way. But, things happen. So what are my plans? And so that was actually, I bought that this week. That was a little bit of shopping. I don't have much to show you, but, I don't think I put down if I go to my library, I did not put down. I'll show you next week on that. So that might be the only shopping I show you, actually. But that was bought this week. So plans, go back to that. Current challenges. I have, how many I Spies do I have left? Oh, Bluebirds and Blossoms was something springy, because I feel like you'd have birds and blossoming flowers in spring. I have I have 3 I Spy left, and it's the 13th of the month, so I'm doing good with that. I'm going to work some more, I think, on my Manning March piece, which is Petals of Purple. I'd like to get some more stitching on that one. I am doing my Whip into Shape. I'd like some more St. Patrick's stitching, so you may see 1 or 2 starts next week on that. I have fabric chosen for the 2 pieces. I just need to get them started. I am on my 3rd Lion versus Lamb piece, so you should see that. Continuing Monochromatic March, pull out some more of my birds. And then the other thing that's happening is it starts next Friday. So it'll have started before my video comes up, which is why I mention it. We are having Karen, Mary, and I are hosting a whip workout connections weekend next weekend. So again, inspired by the Riff Off event in Whip Warriors. They are not doing it. I believe in April they are. So we will not have an event. We will just do the Whip Warriors event. But there is none this month, and we like doing it. Karen's connections were fabulous last month. If you watched her last video, it was fun to watch her connections. So that will start on the 20th, next Friday, 20th, 21st, 22nd. Now, maybe you've got family next weekend, and you said, well, can I do it beforehand or after? Go for it. That's fine. If you want to do it for 4 or 5 days rather than 3 because you're having so much fun, go for it. I want to say the beginning of next week, I will put the information out on the different sites, the socials, because there's one theme that we start with, and then from there you go crazy with your connections and you do what you want with the connections. But I will put out the theme the beginning of next week, so this way, depending on whenever you want to or able to do the event yourself, it will be there for you. But if you'd like to play along with the 3 of us, we are working on it next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All right, so that is what's going on for plans, and then who knows, you know, it's ever fluid and things just happen when they happen. Trading cards. We got in some trading cards this week, so I do want to let people know that their cards did arrive. So Rebecca, yours did arrive. Peg, I got yours. Mandy, we got it. Oh, Mandy, I didn't even know. There's stitches. Rose, I got it. It came. Marie, I got yours. And, oh, I'm sorry. Odessa, I got yours. Oh, look at that. Cute. So fun when people put different stickers or washi tape on their things. Not required, but it's just so cute and fun. So I did get yours. So thank you. So those are the ones that have come in this week. And this is so awesome. I love this theme. It has been so much fun to see what people have created. I did start, you'll notice I didn't show it though. I started a piece for a second trading card. It's going to be way too many stitches to be able to get done for this. I did not realize the picture doesn't look like it's that much stitching. However, it's got to be at least 2,000 stitches. And I'm doing it on 20 count to get it to fit because it was too long otherwise. So I did have a third idea. So I am going to play around and maybe put this one aside. This could be for either another swap, or when I do the show and tell, I have what I think is a great idea. And so it might just get done for a future project kind of thing that I'll talk about then. It always depends if there's an even number or odd number of trading cards that come in, whether I swap an even number or odd number. So I have at least the 1, so that's the odd number. And then I have an idea for, I think is cute for another one. So I think I'll try to pull out some fabric and work on that. But I'm I'm excited. I'm excited on this one, and I can't wait to show them all to you because it's so fun. They're always fun to open, but this is really cool. Like, okay, what year are they, and what did they choose? And I'm having a blast with it. So that's what's come in trading cards. So if I haven't ever mentioned your name yet, I have not received your card, and it's still in the mail. Alrighty. So like I said, let me see if you want to hold for 1 second. I will show you, if you don't care about life stuff and you don't really care about this, then that's really all the stitching. But if you want to see, I have a couple ideas for kind of stitch alongs coming up. And so full coverage ones. So if you're interested in that, stick around. Otherwise, I get it if you want to just leave because you don't care. So this is the first one. So Karen is stitching a very, very cool, it's the Sheep Under the Stars. I don't remember what it's called. That's what I'm naming it. And she is going so good on it. It's going to be finished in no time. So I asked her, oh, who's that by? And it's X Counting the Stars X on Etsy. I believe a UK designer. And so of course, as one does, you know, you go on Etsy shops and then you're totally inspired. And so I was chatting with Karen and some other friends and enabling each other. And so we have a couple of stitch alongs that I think we loved some pieces so much that we are stitching them together. So I bought this one. It's called the Tea Time Cottage. And that's what it looks like, because you know how much I love my tea, and it's just so cool anyway. So I know we are starting this, Karen and I, and anybody else who'd like to, in April. Now this one is a little bit larger. I think it's 300 by 300. However, it's only about 70 colors, which for full coverage is not bad. And Karen has really enjoyed stitching that other piece because I've never stitched from this designer, but she's really enjoyed it. So I said, okay, I'll give this a go. So we have this Tea Time Cottage that we are thinking of starting in April. We already have the Grand Gathering also is coming in April, but we'll talk about that when we get to April plans later on in March. Then I think we're going to have a stained glass summer. So any piece that's stained glass. Look at this stained glass. I think it's stained glass lilies is what it's called. Let me see. Lily stained glass piece. Isn't that pretty? And this one was about like 175 by 240-ish. Don't quote me on that. Somewhere around there. And again, not an excessive amount of colors. So I think for Stained Glass Summer, which Amy, great name for a stitch along, any stained glass piece that you are working on. I actually have my butterflies too, is really kind of a stained glass piece, right? Because it's got that look. So if you'd like to join us this summer stitching kind of stained glass pieces, please do so. Isn't that pretty? So I have both of those that I bought. I did really like this one. I don't own this one. It's the Flamingo Mandala. Isn't that pretty? I thought, what about a mandala May? Because, you know, I need to start at least 3 full coverages, right? But that one's very cool. I love the colors and the bright pinks and blues and yellows. How big is this one? Let's look together, shall we? Oh, 184 by 182. 25 colors. I mean, really. I think that's so much fun. So I think I might do a mandala May along with whatever else I do. There's other stuff going on. But if you would like to join in any of those, or if you want to encourage, if you say I am in on that flamingo, then I'm in with you. I will do it. So that might be a future purchase. The other 2 I did purchase for stained glass summer and I don't know, tea time. I don't know what we're going to call it in April. So tea time stitching. I'll have to like try a different tea every time I stitch on it. I don't know. So that is it for shopping though. I know I have the floss coming from Stitchy Stuff Co. And I did get a message that my Fabrics by Stephanie Fabric of the Month did ship. So that's some stuff to look forward to. Alrighty, so that is now all of the stitching stuff. If you don't care about anything else, then I will see you next time. So life. I know weather can be boring, but honestly, I feel like it's like whiplash this week. We got that crazy warmth on Wednesday. Yeah, because yesterday was Thursday. Wednesday, we just about hit 80 degrees. It felt like summer, like it was a June day. And it wasn't quite as warm on Tuesday, but it was a really, really nice day Tuesday. And then warm overnight. And even Thursday morning, early morning, it still felt kind of like that summer morning stuff and everything. Beautiful weather, beautiful temps. It was so nice. So then yesterday, Mo and I had an appointment at 9 o'clock. And when we left, it was warm, and we left at 8:45 because it was right down the road. And I had a short sleeve sweater on, and Mo, I think, had shorts on. We get to the appointment. It's like a 20-minute thing. We leave the office at 9:20. It had dropped at least 10 degrees, if not 15, and the wind was gusting and blowing. In certain parts of Delaware, because some were warmer than others on Wednesday, there was a 50-degree temperature drop within I'll say 24 hours, but I don't think it was even 24 hours. And yesterday afternoon, it was snowing here. In fact, right now, it didn't accumulate on the streets, but it is still dusting our lawn. I'm looking out the window and I can see snow. Yes, so we went from 80 degrees to snow in about 18 hours. And it is now super cold. I think it's low 30s this morning. The sun is out, thankfully, so at least, it's bright and cheerful. Yesterday was the clouds. It was cloudy all day, and the wind was kind of gusting, and we were lucky. We did not get, I know some places got terrible tornadoes and storms and stuff. We were very lucky. We had a chance for tornadoes, I think, on Wednesday night, but we didn't get any. So I really hope nobody was affected by those horrible storms coming through. But I'm flabbergasted that we went from one to the other extreme so quickly. And I shouldn't. I'm from New England, right? What did Mark Twain say? Wait 5 minutes and the weather will change. Something like that when it came to New England. But so we are now back to cold. It was so nice. I had my warmer weather clothes on, and it felt so good. And now I'm back freezing again. And I know for the next week it's supposed to be cold. Next Friday is the first day of spring, so I'm really hoping that flips a switch. I mean, it's not going to be 80 again, and I don't need it to be, right? I just need it to be maybe 55, 60 with sunny and getting a little bit warmer. And not be so darn cold. So we will see. Other big news, yay, 302 acai. My Sunday morning routines with Mo, our Sunday morning date. Acai bowls at the beach. Okay, we might be sitting in the car eating the bowls at the beach for the first month or so, but they open on Sunday morning, and we're so excited. The 15th, right? That's Sunday. Yes, okay. So I am looking forward to having my first bowl since, I don't know, was it November or October, whenever they closed last season. So super, super excited on that. And it is a routine that both of us really enjoy, and it's a chance for just the two of us to have a little date on a weekly basis. And we very much try not to lose that and have that connection every week. So that's exciting. That's coming too. And then, like I said, this week I stitched with Beth, which was so much fun, and a couple Zooms and things like that. So it's been a busy week because there was a lot of different appointments and things. And next week will be just as busy. This whole month is kind of crazy busy. So once this week came, it's just been there's been a lot. So just a lot of juggling with that. But that's about it. Nothing much more exciting to say is going on here at all. So my friends, I hope you are well. I hope you are safe. Please take care of yourself. I want to do a special if you are well, I can't imagine any active military watch me, but if you are a family member of an active service member, an active military member, I'm keeping you and them in my heart, that they stay safe. Right now things are a scary time, and as a family member of active military, I know, there's worry all the time, but this can be especially worrisome now. So I am thinking of you and thinking of them, and just, hoping for peace. And beyond that, please remember, each and every one of you, that you are important, you matter, and just don't let anybody dim that kind of glow and that shine. You are you, and you are special and important and wonderful. So until next time, happy stitching.